You are sitting across from someone. You're talking. You nod, smile, ask the right questions. But inside your head, there's only noise. You're thinking about what to say next, about how you look, about whether you seem intelligent or interesting. You're performing instead of observing. And while you're lost in your own mind, the other person is right there in front of you, with all their complexity, their hidden traumas, their secret fantasies, their dark side they will never show you. An open book that you're not reading because you're too busy acting. The author Robert Greene has spent a lifetime studying human nature. And one of his most brutally true conclusions is this: the key to success in life is people, not your technical skills, not how brilliant you are in your field, but how good you are at understanding and working with human beings. You can be a computer genius, an extraordinary hacker, an incredible artist, but if you're terrible with people, your life will be hell. Because we are social animals, and how we interact with others determines how far we go. Before continuing, stop for a second. Think about the last important conversation you had. How much were you really listening? And how much were you instead inside your head worried about yourself? You probably already know the answer, and you probably don't like it. Everyone talks about becoming better listeners. They give you vague advice. Listen more, ask open-ended questions, maintain eye contact, and you try for 5 minutes. Then you go back to your old habits. Why? Because the real problem isn't technique. It's that you're more interested in yourself than in the other person. You can deny it as much as you want. You can say, no, I really like people. But the truth is that you're more interested in your thoughts, your ideas, your experiences, your certainties, than in what's going on inside the head of the person in front of you. Greene says something revolutionary. If you can flip this, if you can truly feel motivated to enter the other person, to understand their experience, you will suddenly become a better listener. Not because you learned a technique, but because you changed your emotional focus. It's not just telling people to listen more. It's the quality of the listening. It's the emotion involved. But what can actually make you interested in others? Here, Greene offers a golden key. You must start from the idea that you don't know them. Normally, when you meet someone, a first date, a new colleague, anyone, you immediately create a simplified version of who they are, a label, a category. And that's the version that stays with you forever. He's a shy type. She's ambitious. He's superficial. And with that label, you've closed the book before even reading it. Greene asks you to do something different. Think of the people you meet as characters in a movie. When you go to the cinema, you love getting inside the characters, understanding what motivates them, being carried along by their story. You're excited to discover their traumas, their contradictions, their hidden desires. Do the same with real people. The person in front of you is more interesting than you think. They've had traumas. They have childhood issues that still shape them. They have fantasies they'll never share. They have a shadow, a dark side of their personality they're hiding. They're more complicated and fascinating than they appear, but you'll only see it if you're motivated to look. This is the difference between people who are truly good with others and those who aren't. It's not intelligence, it's not charisma. It's genuine curiosity about human complexity. Greene himself honestly admits that he has always had a desire to please people, to impress them. From a young age, he wanted the best grades, to be the best student in the class. It sounds positive, but there's a weakness in it. An insecurity, a self-doubt that pushed him to constantly test himself. Insecurity can make you say, "It's better not to try anything, at least I won't fail." Many young people live like this. They become slackers to avoid the pain of failure. But Greene took that same insecurity and transformed it. He used it to work harder, to constantly doubt himself in a productive way, to connect with people more deeply. He had a stroke a few years ago. He could have died. And that obsessive drive to work so hard, to connect so intensely with people, probably contributed. But let's get to the core of Greene's method for reading people. The most important thing you have to do is determine their character. Normally, we judge people by appearances, whether they're charming, good-looking, successful, whether they have a brilliant resume. Are you looking for a business partner, a romantic partner, a colleague? You'll base your decision on these superficial things, and that's exactly how you end up getting screwed. Because people can be extremely good at deceiving you. They can be incredibly charming and flattering. They can have an extraordinary resume, and you'll be seduced by it. Greene says the main thing to evaluate must be their character, the strength of their character. And what is character? It comes from a Greek word meaning to carve. Character is something deeply carved into a person. We could say it's the essence of who they are. It creates patterns of behavior they can't fully control. It's who they are genetically, who they became through their parents' values and early experiences. Character isn't immediately visible because people mask it. You have to learn to see it, and you have to value it more than anything else. Looking for strong character? Greene uses a beautiful metaphor. In the world of metals, there's a property called tensile strength. A metal is stronger if it can bend a little, because if it's too rigid, it breaks. You want people who are adaptable, fluid, not weak, but with inner strength and a solid core, while still being able to bend, learn, adapt, change. You want empathetic people, people who know how to get along with others. So if you have two people to choose from, one with a dazzling resume, the other who understands human nature, is socially superior, and also has a good work ethic, choose the second one, always. But how do you actually see character? Greene gives us a powerful tool. Look for patterns. People reveal themselves through their past, through their actions. They try to mask it, but they reveal it anyway. And here comes one of Greene's sharpest statements. No one ever does something just once. Think about it. You have a friend who does something nasty to you, talks behind your back, then says, "Oh, sorry, I don't know what came over me. That's not me. Circumstances forced me," and you'll probably believe them. But the truth? If they've done it once, they've probably done it many times. If people gossip and you hear them gossip about others, sooner or later, they'll gossip about you. You have to learn to look at people's patterns, look at their past, see the trends. Understand that if they've done certain things before, they'll keep doing them. Because we human beings have compulsive behaviors. We're compelled to repeat the same mistakes over and over and over again. This applies to them, and it applies to you. When it comes to you and your own patterns, you first have to realize you have them before you can even begin to break them. You have to be aware. If you don't admit you have these patterns, you can't possibly break them. Greene knows he has terrible patterns in writing. He takes notes on everything he reads. Too much information, thousands of index cards, and every time he has to stop and say, "Stop being such a perfectionist. You're wasting time." Book after book, the same pattern, but he's aware of it, and he tries to break it. But the first step is seeing it and being honest with yourself. Only then can you start to break it. Greene tells the story of Joan Crawford, an actress from Hollywood's golden age. A terrible childhood. She didn't know her father. Her mother beat her. Men abused her. It was creating terrible patterns in her life. But she managed to flip it. She took all those disadvantages and turned them into strength. She brought all the pain of her childhood into her acting. Having been abused, she became hypersensitive to other people. She used that sensitivity to tune into directors and other actors. She was aware of her weaknesses and fragility, and she used them as strength. This is possible, though not for everyone, and not always. Some people are toxic. Greene talks a lot about them. There are people whose patterns are too deeply ingrained. They will never change. The narcissist so deeply self-absorbed that nothing can save them. But for many, with awareness and motivation, change is possible. Even the most destructive patterns can be transformed. There's another crucial dimension in reading people that Greene explores. None of us see the world in the same way. You and I could watch the same movie, same reality. I love it and see one thing. You hate it and see something else. We don't experience it the same way. Everyone you meet is experiencing their world differently from you. They have an attitude that colors what they see. Some people have an attitude that tends toward the negative. Greene describes it as something closed. You're not open to new experiences. You're trying to close that lens. You have certain beliefs, certain ideas about life, and you're not willing to change them because it gives you a sense of security. But you want an expansive attitude, one where you accept people. You're not constantly judging them. You're not negative about them. You understand that people can't necessarily help being who they are. You're open to change, open to adventure. And that kind of attitude gives you a certain degree of freedom. When we have a setback or a failure in life, which is inevitable, we do one of two things. Either we analyze ourselves and see what we did wrong and how we could change, or we immediately look outward and blame others. That person screwed me. Society doesn't like me. Because of these circumstances, I'm screwed and there's nothing I can do. It's the world. It's not me. This is a self-sabotaging pattern of behavior. Because if you're always pointing the finger at others and blaming them, you'll never learn from your experiences, and you'll end up quite bitter. But there's something even deeper. There are remarkable studies on the role of attitude in what happens to you in life. There's something called the Pygmalion effect. Teachers who treat a student as if they're intelligent and destined to do well, those students end up doing well. How you treat people, how you think about yourself, has a huge impact on what happens to you. When doctors prescribe a new drug, there's always the same trend. When a drug is newly invented, the success rate is around 80% because people believe in it since it's new. Then 2 years later, it starts to go down. That's the placebo effect. If you believe something will work, if you believe you're great and deserve good things, that you're a good student, you'll end up making those things happen. How you see yourself will often determine what ends up happening to you. If you go through life thinking, God, I'm not really that good. There's something wrong with me. I don't really deserve good things. I don't deserve much success or money. People read that off you. A major theme in Greene's work is that we are masters at reading people's body language and nonverbal behavior. When someone feels they don't deserve things, it's an off-putting quality in them. So you create self-fulfilling dynamics through how you see yourself and your attitude. Greene had a chapter in the 48 Laws of Power called Think Like a King to be Treated Like One. There's the story of Christopher Columbus, who came from extreme poverty but imagined himself as royalty. By imagining it, people began treating him that way. And as they treated him that way, he felt even greater. And he managed to convince the King of Portugal to give him those ships, even though he was actually a mediocre captain. Your attitude and how you think about yourself determine how people treat you and what happens in life. So, to sum up, the point of this talk is that reading people like a book isn't about psychological tricks or manipulation techniques. It's about fundamentally shifting your focus from yourself to others, from performance to presence, from appearance to character, from superficial judgments to deep patterns. It's about becoming genuinely curious about human complexity, seeing every person as a fascinating movie you're still watching, understanding that beneath every mask there's a universe of traumas, desires, fears, and contradictions. And when you begin to truly see people, not the simplified version you've constructed, but who they really are, everything changes. Your relationships become richer, your decisions wiser, your ability to navigate the social world infinitely more powerful, simply because you're finally seeing. So here's what I want you to do. Choose one person, someone you think you know, a friend, a relative, a colleague, anyone. And for 1 week, treat them like a book you haven't read yet. Become curious, look for patterns, watch when their eyes light up, observe their body language, try to understand what really motivates them beneath the surface. Don't judge, just observe. And then notice what happens. Notice how your relationship with them changes when you stop projecting and start seeing. Let me know in the comments what you discover. And if this video was useful to you, I ask you to subscribe to the channel to support my work. See you next time.